aggravated assault with a shotgun and the separate crime of aggravated assault with a shotgun. So, all that being said, what these individuals are looking at now is the possibility of a maximum potential penalty of life in prison, or life without the possibility of parole, depending on how they are sentenced. The judge has not set an exact date for sentencing, but what he said in the courtroom, it should be just a couple of weeks from now. And it's not over for them because they still a federal case as well. With that, I take you back to Brunswick, Georgia, where we have Court TV legal correspondent Julia Janae joining us live there. She was inside the courtroom watching as the verdicts were being read. Julia, share with us the emotion there that you felt when you were in the courtroom, and then what you felt as you exited the courtroom to get outside where you are now.
Julie, so much emotion inside and outside of that courtroom. You could feel it even before the first guilty was read. It was a buildup. The family of Ahmaud Arbery there on the back row, grasping each other's hands tightly. And just moments before they did that, I saw Ben Crump with his hand folded in prayer, reacting or waiting for what this jury would come back with. And then this jury filed in. They didn't look at the gallery. They really just paid attention to getting to their seats, but looked confident in what their conclusion was in this case. Then when we heard that first reading of the top charge against Travis McMichael, the one who pulled the trigger, malice murder, when the judge said guilty, Marcus Arbery leapt to his feet, really was cheering, saying that it's a long time coming. Ben Crump tried to hold him. It's almost as if he was hoping that he could get him to settle down enough to be able to stay in that courtroom, but ultimately he was escorted out by the guards. The judge said no outbursts would be allowed, and then they continued to read those guilty verdicts against Travis McMichael. Wanda Cooper Jones was there, holding the hands of the Reverend Al Sharpton on one side, attorney Lee Merritt on the other, who has been with her from the beginning of this trial, this case against, you see there Marcus Arbery jumping up there, and you can see him in between the defendant, Travis McMichael, as he was standing to hear the jury's decision on him. But back to Wanda Cooper Jones, she was holding in that emotion, but you could see it flowing through her body. She was just shaking the hands of the two men on either side of her, and you could see that she was crying, but holding in any kind of outburst, waiting until she could get into that hallway where there were dozens of people waiting to embrace them and cheer, and that just spilled out into the courthouse grounds, where so many are waiting to start those chants of justice for Ahmaud.
Definitely, Julia. Her strength, her poise, all of that, it is so admirable. I truly don't know how she does it. I think many people wonder the same thing, the way she's been at every hearing, inside for every day of testimony that is hard for strangers to hear. Can't imagine how she feels hearing that. A very strong woman. Our hearts break for her. Julia, I know there is so much more that we're going to be discussing. Thank you so much for that update. Right now, I'm being told we're going to squeeze in a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by one of the defense attorneys involved in this case, someone who joined us yesterday on the program, attorney Kevin Goff, who represents William Ronnie Bryant. He will be joining us live next here on Court TV.